In the quiet village of Greymoor, tucked between rolling hills and thick forests, there's a chilling tale whispered among the children, a story of a doll unlike any other. They say, beware the hungry doll, a small porcelain figure with wide, staring eyes and a mouth that seems just a little too big for its face. The legend claims the doll comes to life at night, feeding on the souls of those who dare to neglect it. Sophie had always loved her dolls. Her room was a sanctuary for them, each one perfectly placed on a shelf, their dresses pristine, their hair braided with care. Her favorite was a simple rag doll with button eyes and a soft, stitched smile. But everything changed when a package arrived from a distant aunt, an aunt she'd never even met. Inside was the hungry doll. At first, Sophie was in awe. The doll was exquisite, with a silk dress and hair like spun gold. Its porcelain face was delicate, almost lifelike, with glassy eyes that seemed to follow her every move. But there was something unsettling about its mouth. It was slightly open, revealing teeth that seemed too sharp, too real. Sophie's mother, charmed by its beauty, placed it on the shelf with the others. But Sophie couldn't shake a growing unease. She'd catch its eyes staring at her, even when she wasn't looking. At night, the feeling intensified, as if the doll was watching her, waiting. The first night after the doll arrived, Sophie was woken by a faint scratching sound, like tiny claws on wood. She sat up, heart pounding, but the room was silent. She looked at the shelf where her dolls sat in a neat row. The hungry doll was in the center, its eyes gleaming in the dim light. She told herself it was just her imagination and eventually drifted back to sleep. But the next morning, something was wrong. Her favorite rag doll had been moved. It was slumped over, its button eyes facing the wall, as if it had been deliberately turned away from the new doll. Sophie's mother just said it must have fallen over, but Sophie knew her dolls never moved on their own. The scratching sounds continued every night, growing louder, more insistent. Sophie began to dread the dark, clutching her blankets as the sounds crept through her room. She noticed other changes too. Her other dolls were often found in different positions, their faces always turned away from the hungry doll, as if trying to escape its gaze. She tried to ignore it, but the fear gnawed at her. She felt like a prisoner in her own room, always under those watchful eyes. She tried moving the doll to a different shelf, but no matter where she placed it, its eyes seemed to follow her, always watching, always waiting. One night, Sophie awoke with a start, a cold sweat on her skin. The room was deathly silent, the air thick and heavy. She felt a presence, something dark and malevolent. Slowly, she turned her head towards the foot of her bed, and there it was, the hungry doll, standing on her bed, its wide eyes gleaming in the moonlight. Its mouth began to open, slowly, deliberately, revealing sharp, needle-like teeth. Sophie's breath caught in her throat. She was frozen with fear. She wanted to scream, to run, but her body wouldn't obey. The doll began to move, crawling up the bed, its tiny hands clutching the blankets as it drew closer. In a voice that sounded like the rustling of dead leaves, it whispered, "I'm hungry." Sophie's heart hammered against her ribs as the doll crawled closer, its cold porcelain hands reaching out for her. She felt a sharp pain as its teeth sank into her, not tearing flesh, but something deeper, more vital. It was as if the doll was draining her very life force, consuming her essence. Her vision blurred, and a wave of exhaustion swept over her. The room grew darker, the world fading as the doll continued its feast. The last thing she saw were its wide, staring eyes, filled with an insatiable hunger. The next morning, Sophie's parents found her in bed, pale and lifeless, her skin cold to the touch. The hungry doll sat on her chest, its eyes now dull, its mouth closed, the sharp teeth hidden once more. The doll was placed back on the shelf, and a strange, heavy silence settled over the room. The villagers whispered about Sophie's death, but no one dared speak of the hungry doll. It remained on its shelf, its eyes dark, as if sated for now. But the villagers knew the truth. The doll is always hungry, always waiting. And so, the children of Greymoor are warned to cherish their toys. But the hungry doll remains, watching from its perch, its hunger growing with each passing day, waiting for the next child to become its next meal. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like and subscribe for more chilling tales.